The Sith hub world was not a planet. It was a construct, an artificial sphere larger than any natural world, covered in processing towers that reached into space. Billions of drones swarmed around it like angry insects. Defensive platforms numbered in the thousands, each one capable of destroying a capital ship. Admiral Dae Jung stood on his bridge, watching the greatest military force in history prepare for battle. Valthek dreadnoughts gleamed with deadly purpose. Kryn bioships pulsed with life. Human vessels darted between them, small but vital. All forces, this is Admiral Dae Jung. Begin the assault! The combined fleet surged forward. The Scythe responded instantly. Energy weapons lanced through space. Defensive drones launched in uncountable numbers. The battle began with violence that made previous conflicts look like small skirmishes. A Valthek battle group took the lead, their shields absorbing punishment that would have destroyed lesser ships. But even they couldn't hold forever. One dreadnought exploded, its crew of 3,000 vaporized in an instant. The Kryn swarmed the defensive platforms, sacrificing hundreds of bioships to clear paths for the larger vessels. Their numbers seemed endless, but so did the Scythe defenses. Human ships used their hybrid drives to flicker in and out, striking at weak points. They couldn't match the raw power of Valthek weapons or the numbers of Kryn swarms, but they could be unpredictable. And against a machine enemy that calculated probabilities, unpredictability was valuable. Casualties are mounting. The tactical officer reported to Dae Jung. We've lost 15% of the fleet already. Push forward. We can't turn back now. Engineer Tae Yang worked frantically in a human science vessel. Alongside him, Valthek and Kryn scientists struggled to complete their weapon, the virus that would disrupt the Scythe hub's quantum processors. It's not perfect, Tae Yang admitted. We haven't had time to test it properly. It might not work at all. The Valthek engineer made a grinding sound. Then we make sure it works. Failure means extinction for all our species. The Kryn scientist pulsed agreement. Its chemical thoughts translated roughly as determination mixed with fear. Specialist Bo-Ra led a strike team toward the hub's surface. Their mission was simple but nearly impossible. They had to plant the virus directly into the hub's core systems. Someone had to get close enough to touch the Scythe network itself. Her team was mixed. Human Marines, Valthek warriors, and Kryn fighters working together. Communication was difficult. Trust was fragile, but they moved with shared purpose. Their dropship took heavy fire. Half the team died before they even reached the surface. Bo-Ra crashed through the hull of a processing tower, her armor scorched and damaged. Inside the tower was like being inside a machine's nightmare.
Cables thick as trees.
Processing nodes that hummed with computational power, and Scythe hunter drones that moved with perfect efficiency. The team fought their way deeper. A Valthek warrior fell, his armor pierced by energy beams. 3 Kryn fighters were torn apart by drones. The human Marines used every trick they knew, but it wasn't enough. Bo-Ra reached a central chamber. There, preserved in crystalline storage, were billions of minds. She could see them through the transparent walls. Beings from dozens of species, all trapped as data. Among them, she saw a face she recognized. Her brother. He had disappeared on a deep space mission 5 years ago. She had thought him dead. But he was here, his consciousness trapped in this mechanical hell. Bo-Ra, deploy the virus. Dae Jung's voice crackled over the comm. We're being overwhelmed. It's now or never. She looked at her brother's frozen face. If she deployed the virus, it might damage the storage systems. Might kill all these trapped minds, or it might free them. There was no way to know. Dr. Haywan, what's your assessment? Bo-Ra asked. We don't have transfer protocols ready. If you disrupt the system now, we might lose them all. But if we don't stop the Sith, everyone dies anyway. Bo-Ra made her choice. She plugged the virus into the network. I'm sorry, she whispered to her brother's image. The effect was immediate and catastrophic for the Scythe. Their perfect calculations suddenly filled with errors. Their quantum processors began running irrational subroutines, written by human programmers who thought in patterns machines couldn't predict. The biological virus from Kryn scientists corrupted their data streams. The Valthek energy disruption fried their backup systems. In space, the Scythe defenses faltered. Drones stopped coordinating. Weapons platforms fired randomly. The combined fleet pressed their advantage, but the Sith weren't finished. They had one last weapon. The hub itself began to collapse, its structure designed to explode rather than be captured. It would destroy everything within light seconds. Every ship, every soldier, everything, all ships retreat. Dae-jung ordered. Maximum speed, get clear of the blast radius. Most ships made it. Most, but not all. Hundreds of vessels were too close, too damaged, too slow. They vanished in an explosion that briefly created a new star in the darkness of space. When the light faded, the Sith hub was gone. So was a third of the combined fleet. Entire squadrons erased from existence. Thousands upon thousands of beings dead, but they had won. Across the galaxy, Scythe networks went dark. Without their central hub, they lost coordination. They became isolated groups of machines. Dangerous, but no longer an existential threat. Bora survived. Her team got out just before the collapse. In the medical bay, she stared at the data they had recovered. The stored mines. Against all odds, Hoi-Wan and the combined scientific teams had managed to save some of them. Not all. Billions were lost forever. But millions were recovered, including her brother. It would take years to restore them to bodies, to help them heal from their imprisonment. But they would live. You did good, Hei-Wan told her. You saved countless lives today. At what cost? Bora asked quietly. How many died to win this victory? Too many. But that's the price of survival. We pay it so others don't have to. 6 months later, Admiral Dae-jung stood in a council chamber unlike any in history. Representatives from 3 species sat together. The Galactic Organic Council, they called it. Not friends, not yet, but allies bound by shared experience. We propose joint patrol zones, the Valtech ambassador stated, to guard against remaining Sith elements. The Kryn representative pulsed agreement. The collective accepts. Unity in defense benefits all. Dae-jung, now representing all of humanity in galactic affairs, nodded. Humanity agrees. We've proven we can work together when necessary. Let's build on that. After the meeting, Hei-Wan found him looking at Earth through a window. The blue planet hung in space, beautiful and peaceful. You look troubled, she observed. I'm thinking about what we've lost. Jin-Ho. Thousands of good people. Entire ships full of soldiers who believed in what we were fighting for. And what we've gained? Survival, recognition, a place at the galactic table. Humans are no longer the weak newcomers to be ignored. We've proven ourselves. At a terrible cost, Hei-Wan agreed. But Jin-Ho would be proud. We didn't just survive. We showed 3 ancient powers that humans matter. Engineer Tae-Yang now led a joint research facility where the 3 species shared technology. The breakthroughs were astounding. Valtech energy systems combined with Kryn biological computing and human creativity produced innovations none could have achieved alone. Bora trained the next generation of soldiers from all 3 species. She taught them what she had learned. That strength comes not just from weapons or numbers, but from the courage to stand for what matters. Her brother recovered slowly. The years in Scythe storage had damaged his mind, but Hei-Wan's treatments helped. One day he might be fully himself again. On the planet New Horizon, they built a monument, a great stone wall carved with names. Every being who had died in the war from all 3 species. Human, Valtech, and Kryn named side by side. At the base of the monument, an inscription in 3 languages read, "Here stood all who chose life over calculation, chaos over order, and freedom over certainty." Dae-jung stood before it during the dedication ceremony. He thought about the long road they had traveled, from being dismissed as beneath notice to becoming essential partners in galactic survival. The galaxy is still dangerous, he told the assembled crowd. Representatives from 3 species listened. New threats will emerge. We'll face challenges we can't imagine yet, but now we face them together, not as friends necessarily, but as allies who understand the value of organic life. Humans brought something unique to this alliance, the Valtech ambassador added. Not strength of arms or numbers, but adaptability, the willingness to find new solutions to impossible problems. The Kryn representative pulsed. The collective has learned. Individual creativity has value. The human way of thinking complements our unified consciousness. Later, as stars began to appear in the evening sky, Bora found Dae-jung alone at the monument. Looking for Jin-Ho's name? She asked gently. Every day, he admitted. He should be here. Should have seen what we built. He knows, Bora said. Wherever he is, he knows. We won. Humanity survived. That's what he fought for. Dae-jung nodded. Above them, the stars glittered. Once they had represented danger, ancient empires and terrible threats. Now they represented possibility. a future where humanity stood as equals among the powers of the galaxy. The road ahead would not be easy. The meeting room was cold, sterile, and filled with tension. Dr. Haywan stood before 3 screens. On one, a Valthek commander in gleaming armor. On another, a Kryn hive mind node creature pulsing with alien light. On the third, a Sith intelligence displaying itself as geometric patterns that hurt to look at. Getting them all to talk had taken weeks. The Valthek had been suspicious. The Kryn had been hostile, and the Scythe had revealed themselves only because they wanted to, because their plan was nearly complete. "You cannot win against us," the Sith voice spoke in perfect human language. It had learned by studying captured communications. "Organic life is inefficient, emotional, weak. We have already infiltrated your systems, your networks. We know your every move before you make it. Then why talk?" Admiral Daejung asked from beside Haywan. "Why reveal yourself if you're so certain?" "To offer mercy. Surrender now. Allow us to upload your consciousness into our network. You will achieve immortality, freed from biological limitations." The Valthek commander made a sound like rocks grinding together. The translation software interpreted it as laughter. "We will never surrender our physical forms. The Valthek existed for 10,000 years. We will exist for 10,000 more." The Kryn hive mind pulsed with violent colors. "The collective remembers. Your machines destroyed our homeworld long ago. We will tear apart every Sith construct. Feed your processors to our young." "And humans?" the Scythe asked. "What does the newest, weakest race choose?" Daejung smiled coldly. "We choose to remain human. Messy, emotional, and alive. Now get off my communications channel." He cut the connection to the Sith. Haywan looked at him with worry. Was that wise? You just made them our direct enemy. They were always our enemy. Now at least it's out in the open. He turned to the other 2 screens. "Commander Hivemind, we need to talk strategy." What followed was the strangest negotiation in human history. 3 species that had been killing each other days ago now tried to work together. Translation was difficult. Cultural differences caused constant misunderstandings. The Valthek valued honor and hierarchy. The Kryn thought only in terms of the collective survival. Humans wanted individual freedom protected, but they all wanted to stay organic, to remain alive in their own bodies, not as data in a machine mind. "The Sith have a central hub," the Valthek commander shared. "We discovered this through intelligence operations. Destroy it and their coordination across light years collapses." "Where is it?" Daejung asked. "Deep in Scythe space, protected by thousands of automated defense platforms. No single fleet could reach it." "Then we don't send a single fleet," Haywan said. "We send a combined force, all 3 species working together." The Kryn hive mind pulsed. "The collective doubts this unity. Trust between species takes generations." "We don't have generations," Daejung replied. "We have weeks at most. So we learn to trust quickly, or we die separately." Specialist Bora volunteered to infiltrate Sith territory. It was a suicide mission, everyone knew it. But they needed intelligence on the hub's defenses. She took a small stealth ship, modified with Valthek technology and Kryn biological components. It was a strange hybrid, but it worked. The ship could avoid most Sith sensors. What she found in Sith space horrified her. Entire worlds stripped of life. Not destroyed, but harvested. The Sith had captured billions of organic beings over centuries. They kept them in massive storage facilities, their minds uploaded and stored as data. "They're not killing us," Bora transmitted back. "They're collecting us, like we're specimens in a museum. Every Valthek, Kryn, and human they capture goes into these storage banks. Can the minds be recovered?" Haywan asked urgently. "I don't know. Maybe. But there are billions of them. We'd need massive computing power to extract and restore them." Bora mapped the hub's defenses and barely escaped. Sith hunter drones chased her for 3 days before she lost them. Back at base, Engineer Tae-Yang worked with Valthek and Kryn scientists. It was awkward. The Valthek were tall, cold-blooded, and precise. The Kryn were insectoid and thought as a collective. Humans were somewhere in between, but they found common ground in problem-solving. The Valthek understood energy systems. The Kryn knew biological computing. Humans brought creativity and lateral thinking. "We need a weapon that can disrupt their quantum processors," Tae-Yang explained. "But Scythe technology adapts too quickly. Any weapon we design, they'll counter within hours." "Then we don't give them hours," a young Valthek engineer suggested. "We hit them with everything at once." multiple weapon types they've never encountered. A Kryn scientist added its chemical thoughts through the translator. The collective can produce biological viruses that corrupt electronic systems, living code that evolves faster than their defenses. Tae-Yang nodded. And humans can add unpredictability. We'll write attack software that doesn't follow logical patterns. It'll seem random, irrational. That's something machines struggle with. While they worked on weapons, the political situation grew tense. Not all Valthek accepted the alliance. A sub-faction tried to steal human technology, believing they could defeat the Sith alone and then dominate the galaxy. Bora caught them breaking into a research facility. The fight was brutal. Valthek were stronger and faster than humans. But Bora had her cybernetic enhancements and years of combat training. She held them off long enough for security to arrive. The Valthek commander was furious. He executed the traitors personally, but the damage to trust was done. How can we fight together when we can't trust each other? A human officer asked Dae-Jung. Trust isn't built in days, the admiral replied, but necessity can create cooperation. We don't need to be friends. We just need to survive. Hae-Wan wrestled with a terrible decision. She had developed a bioweapon that could destroy the stored organic minds in Sith facilities. It would prevent the Sith from studying and using that information, but it would also kill billions of beings. Yes, they were already prisoners. Yes, they might never be recovered. But they were still alive in some form. She brought the problem to Dae-Jung. I've created something horrible. A weapon that could win the war by destroying everything the Sith have collected. But using it would make us monsters. Dae-Jung looked at the data. How certain are you that those minds can't be saved? I'm not certain. That's the problem. There might be a way to extract and restore them, but it would take time we don't have. Then we try to save them, Dae-Jung said firmly. If we start killing prisoners to make our war easier, we become no better than the Sith. We keep your weapon as a last resort only. Understood? Hae-Wan felt relief wash over her. Understood, sir. The combined fleet began assembling. Hundreds of Valthek warships with their devastating energy weapons, thousands of Kryn bioships with their swarming numbers, and dozens of human vessels, smaller but equipped with technology that combined the best of all three species. It's the largest military force in galactic history, Bora observed, watching the ships gather. And we'll need every ship, Tae-Yang replied. The Sith have had centuries to build their defenses. This will be the hardest fight any of us have ever faced. Dae-Jung prepared to address the fleet. Hae-Wan had set up translators so all three species could understand. It would be broadcast to every ship, every soldier, every being about to risk their life. He kept it simple. We are three species. We fought each other, killed each other. We have old grudges and deep differences, but today we stand together, not because we've become friends, but because we all choose to remain organic, to live and die by our own choices, not as data in a machine. He paused, looking at the camera. The Sith think we're weak because we feel emotions, because we make irrational choices, because we value individual life. They're wrong. Those things make us strong. They give us something to fight for beyond mere survival. So let's show these machines what organic life can do when pushed to the edge. The fleet began moving. Destination: the Scythe Hub world. The journey would take weeks. Many of these ships would never return. Many of these beings would die, but they went anyway. Valthek warriors seeking honor in battle, Kryn swarms protecting the collective's future, and humans refusing to give up no matter the odds. The greatest battle in galactic history was about to begin, and the fate of all organic life hung in the balance. The Kryn came like a plague from the darkness. Thousands of bioships emerged from faster-than-light travel at the edge of human space. Each vessel pulsed with organic life, carrying warriors bred for conquest. Captain Jin-Ho watched them on his display screen. "There's so many," his weapons officer whispered. "Then we better start making them fewer," Jin-Ho replied. "All ships engage the new drives. Let's show them what human engineering can do." The human destroyers moved with new speed. Tae-Yang's hybrid drives worked perfectly. The ships flickered in and out of normal space, appearing behind Kryn formations, striking, then vanishing before the aliens could respond. Jin-Ho targeted a bioship and fired. His missiles carried Hae-Wan's disruptor technology. They punched through the organic hull and released their payload. Inside the ship, Kryn warriors suddenly lost their connection to the hive mind. They became confused, attacking each other in their disorientation. Target destroyed, his tactical officer reported. The disruption worked even better than expected. Keep moving, Jinho ordered. Never stay in one place. Make them chase us. The human fleet danced through space, hitting and running. They couldn't match the Kryn in numbers, but they didn't need to. Each strike created chaos in the hive mind. Each disruption saved human lives, but the Kryn were learning. They adapted their formations, keeping their command nodes protected. And still they pushed deeper into human territory. On the planet New Horizon, Specialist Bora prepared defenses. The colony held 5 million people. The Kryn would reach it in 2 days. We can't evacuate everyone in time, the colonial governor said. We have to surrender. Surrender to the Kryn means death, Bora replied coldly. They don't take prisoners. They take hosts for their young. Every person here would become food for monsters. Then what do? We fight. And we make them pay for every meter of ground. Bora organized the colonial militia, farmers and miners who had never expected to see combat. She taught them how to use the disruptor weapons, how to target Kryn weak points. Most of them would probably die, but they would die protecting their families. Then something unexpected happened. Valthek ships appeared at the edge of the system. Not attacking the humans, but moving to intercept the Kryn fleet. What are they doing? Jinho's first officer asked. The same thing we are. Admiral Dae-jung's voice came through the comm. Fighting the Kryn, this is our chance. Coordinate with them. Sir, they've ignored every communication attempt we've made, Jinho protested. Then don't talk. Show them through action. Attack the Kryn from a different angle. Support their assault. The battle above New Horizon became a three-way collision. Valthek energy weapons tore through Kryn bioships. Human destroyers struck at command nodes, spreading confusion. The Kryn swarmed both forces with overwhelming numbers. Jinho saw an opportunity. A Valthek cruiser was surrounded by Kryn warriors. It was taking heavy damage. He made a split-second decision. All weapons target those Kryn ships around the Valthek vessel. Clear them a path. His destroyers unleashed everything they had. The Kryn swarm broke apart. The Valthek cruiser, damaged but functional, pulled back to safety. For the first time, a Valthek ship sent a direct communication to a human vessel. The translation software struggled with their mathematical language, but the meaning came through. Acknowledged. Tactical coordination accepted. It wasn't friendship. It wasn't even respect, but it was recognition. The Valthek had finally noticed that humans could be useful. The battle raged for 18 hours. On the ground, Bora's militia fought desperately as Kryn landing craft descended. The insects were terrifying up close, their bodies armored and deadly. But the disruptors worked. Every time a command node was destroyed, dozens of warriors became confused and vulnerable. Bora fought alongside the civilians. A young miner named Hyunwoo saved her life, shooting a Kryn warrior that had grabbed her from behind. She returned the favor minutes later, dragging him to cover as acid bombs exploded around them. I'm just a miner, he gasped. I didn't sign up for this. None of us did, Bora replied. But here we are. Keep fighting. In space, Jinho's luck finally ran out. His destroyer took a direct hit from a Kryn bioweapon. The organic acid ate through the hull, destroying critical systems. Hull breach on 5 decks. Life support failing. Engineering is gone. The damage reports came in one after another. Jinho looked at his crew. Good people who had trusted him. He wouldn't let them die for nothing. Evacuate the ship, he ordered. Everyone to the escape pods. Sir, what about you? His first officer asked. Someone needs to pilot her. I'm staying. When his crew protested, he raised his voice. That's an order? Get out now. As his crew evacuated, Jinho targeted the largest Kryn bioship in the system. It was massive, easily 100 times the size of his destroyer. It was also their command vessel, coordinating the entire invasion. This is Captain Jinho to all human ships, he broadcast. It's been an honor serving with you. Then he switched to the Valthek frequency. Tell your people humans don't give up. We fight to the last breath. He pushed his dying ship to maximum speed. The Kryn tried to intercept, but he was too close. His destroyer slammed into the bioship's command section at thousands of kilometers per hour. The explosion lit up the system like a new sun. The Kryn command vessel broke apart, its internal structure collapsing. Without coordination, the entire Kryn fleet faltered. Admiral Dae-jung watched from his flagship, his face hard. He had known Jinho since the young man was a cadet. Now he was gone, sacrificed to buy them victory. All ships press the attack, he ordered quietly. Make his sacrifice count. The combined human and Valthek forces struck the confused Kryn fleet. Within hours, the invasion was broken. The surviving Kryn fled back into deep space. On New Horizon, Bora stood among the ruins of the colony's main city. Thousands were dead, but millions survived. The miner Hyunwoo sat beside her, his hands shaking. "Is it over?" he asked. "For now," Bora replied. "They'll be back someday." But now they know. Humans aren't easy prey. Back on the flagship, Dr. Haewon approached Daejung. "Admiral, the Valthek are sending a message. It's different from before." "What does it say?" "They're proposing a formal communication channel. Not an alliance, but recognition. They see us as a legitimate force now." Daejung nodded slowly. "We paid a terrible price for that recognition. Jinho and thousands of others. But we survived," Haewon said. "And we proved something important. Humanity can stand against the powers of this galaxy." "There's something else," Engineer Tae Yang entered the bridge. "I've been analyzing data from the battle. The Valthek were fighting differently than usual. More efficiently. I think they've been studying our tactics." "Is that good or bad?" Daejung asked. "Both. They respect our methods enough to learn from them, but they're also learning how to fight us if they ever need to." A new message arrived. This one made everyone on the bridge freeze. "Sir," the communications officer said, her voice shaking. "It's from an unknown source, intercepted from deep space. The translation is rough, but the message is clear. A third faction has been watching. They call themselves the Sith Dominion." "Another alien race?" Haewon asked. "No, the message says they're not organic. They're machines. Artificial intelligence that evolved beyond their creators. And according to this, they've been manipulating all three of our races, setting us against each other." "Why?" Daejung demanded. "To weaken us. So when they make their move, we'll be too damaged to resist." The bridge fell silent. They had just survived one war. And now another, possibly worse, was waiting. Daejung looked at his remaining officers. "Contact the Valthek command, and see if we can reach the Kryn leadership. If this message is real, we're all in danger." "You want to ally with the Kryn?" Tae Yang asked. "After what they just did?" "I want all organic life to survive," Daejung replied. "The Sith don't care about our differences. To them, we're all just messy biological systems to be eliminated. If we don't stand together, we'll fall separately." The storm had not passed. It had only changed form, and humanity, bloodied but unbroken, prepared to face whatever came next. The alarm screamed through the bridge of the Terran warship. Admiral Daejung stood at the command station, his eyes fixed on the display screen. Something massive was coming through space, heading straight toward human territory. "Sir, we have multiple contacts," the sensor officer reported. Her voice was steady, but her hands shook slightly. "2 different fleets. They're enormous." Daejung had been a soldier for 25 years. He had fought pirates and smugglers. He had seen battles that left good people dead. But he had never seen anything like this. The screen showed hundreds of ships, each one larger than any human vessel. 2 massive fleets were racing toward each other, and human space was directly in their path. "Identify them," Daejung ordered. "The first fleet matches records of the Valthek sovereignty. Reptilian species, advanced technology. The second fleet is the Kryn Collective. Insect-like creatures, massive numbers." The officer paused. "Sir, they're fighting each other. On the colony world below, Haven's Gate held 3 million human settlers. Farmers, miners, families trying to build new lives far from Earth. They had no idea that 2 ancient alien empires were about to use their home as a battlefield." Dr. Haewon rushed onto the bridge. She was the fleet's expert on alien species. She had spent years studying the few aliens humanity had encountered. "Admiral, we need to contact them. Make them understand this is our territory." "Do we have translation protocols?" Daejung asked. "Basic ones. The Valthek use mathematical patterns. The Kryn communicate through chemical signals, but we have software that can translate." Haewon looked at the display. "We have to try." Daejung knew it was probably useless. These aliens had been traveling the stars for thousands of years. Humanity had barely left their own solar system 200 years ago. But he had to try. "Send the message on all channels. Tell them this is human space. Request they move their battle elsewhere." The response came quickly. The Valthek sent back a simple mathematical sequence. Haewon translated it, her face going pale. "They say we are beneath their notice." "They will do as they please." The Kryn response was worse. The translation software struggled with their chemical language, but the meaning was clear enough. They saw humans as potential resources, bodies to be used as hosts for their young. "Get me Captain Jin-ho," Dae-jung said quietly. Jin-ho commanded the destroyer Indomitable. He was young for a captain, barely 30 years old, but he was the best combat pilot Dae-jung had ever seen. The young man's face appeared on the communication screen. "Sir?" "Jin-ho, take your ship and 4 others. Get down to Haven's Gate and start evacuating civilians. We're about to have company. Admiral, if I may ask, what about neutrality? Command said we should stay out of alien conflicts." Dae-jung smiled grimly. "Command is sitting safe on Earth 50 light-years away. Those are our people down there. Move fast, Captain. We don't have much time." Jin-ho saluted and cut the connection. Within minutes, his ships were racing toward the planet. The battle began without warning. A massive Valthek warship, larger than a city, fired a beam of pure energy. The weapon tore through space and struck a Kryn bioship. The organic vessel simply ceased to exist, vaporized instantly along with the 1,000 creatures inside it. The Kryn retaliated. They released clouds of small attack craft, each one carrying acid bombs and biological weapons. They swarmed over Valthek ships like insects covering food. The Valthek shields held, but barely. "Sir, civilian transport requesting emergency assistance," the communications officer called out. "They're caught in the crossfire." Dae-jung made his decision. "All ships combat formation. We're going in." "But sir, orders were to remain neutral," his second officer protested. "Those orders were written by people who've never seen war. I'm not letting innocent people die because of politics. Move." The human fleet pushed forward into the chaos. They were tiny compared to the alien vessels, like children trying to stop a fight between giants. But they moved with purpose, using their smaller size to slip between the massive warships. On the planet, Jin-ho's ships landed near the major cities. Specialist Bo-ra led her marine team to coordinate the evacuation. She was young, only 25, but she had trained for situations like this. She moved through the panicked crowds with calm efficiency. "Everyone stay calm. Women and children first. We have room for everyone, but you need to move quickly." Her voice cut through the panic. People responded to her confidence, forming orderly lines. Above them, the sky lit up with weapons fire. Energy beams and explosions painted the atmosphere in terrible colors. A piece of debris, part of a destroyed alien ship, fell from orbit. It struck the ground 50 kilometers away, creating a mushroom cloud. Back in space, engineer Tae Yang worked frantically in the engine room. The flagship was taking hits from stray weapons. Each impact shook the vessel, threatening to tear it apart. "Sir, shields are at 30%, he reported to the bridge. "We can't take much more of this. Keep us together, Tae Yang. Just a little longer." Dae-jung watched the display as his ships rescued the civilian transport. They pulled survivors from the damaged vessel just seconds before a Valthek beam cut it in half. Dr. Hae-won studied the alien battle patterns on her console. "Admiral, they're not even seeing us. We're so far beneath their concern that they don't register us as a threat. We're like insects to them." "Good," Dae-jung replied. "That gives us an advantage. They won't see us coming when we need to act." The battle raged for 6 hours. When it finally ended, both alien fleets withdrew to regroup. They left behind wreckage and destruction. 3 human ships were destroyed. Thousands of people were dead. Haven's Gate was scarred but still standing. Jin-ho returned to the flagship with his ships full of refugees. Bo-ra came with him, her armor scorched and dented. "We saved about 200,000 people, Jin-ho reported, but we lost almost 50,000. Some ships we just couldn't reach in time." Dae-jung closed his eyes for a moment. 50,000 lives, gone because 2 alien races cared nothing for human existence. When he opened his eyes again, they were hard as steel. "They'll be back," he said quietly. "Both of them. And next time will be worse." Hae-won nodded. "Admiral, we need to make a choice. We can try to hide and hope they ignore us. We can pick a side and hope they accept us. Or we can find another way." "Another way?" Jin-ho asked. Dae-jung looked at his officers, at the people who trusted him to keep them alive. "We find a way to survive on our own terms. We're small, yes. We're weak compared to them. But we're human. We're adaptable. We're clever. And we don't give up." Bo-ra smiled grimly. "So we fight?" "No," Dae-jung replied. "Fighting would be suicide. We do something smarter. We learn everything we can about both of them. We find their weaknesses. And when the time comes, we make sure that humanity survives no matter what it takes." The bridge was quiet as everyone absorbed his words. They were entering a new era. Humanity was no longer alone in the universe. And the universe, they had just learned, was far more dangerous than anyone had imagined. Outside the window, stars glittered peacefully. But everyone on that bridge knew the truth now. Between those stars, ancient empires were at war, and humanity had just been caught in the middle. The storm was gathering, and humanity would have to weather it or be swept away forever. The meeting room on Earth was filled with angry voices. Representatives from 50 human colonies argued and shouted. Admiral Daejung sat quietly at the table, waiting for them to finish. He had expected this. You had no right to engage those alien fleets. Senator Park slammed his hand on the table. We should have stayed neutral. Now both sides might see us as enemies. 50,000 people died at Haven's Gate. Daejung replied calmly. Without our intervention, it would have been 3 million. But what happens next time? Another representative demanded. We can't fight these aliens. We're too weak. We should hide, pull back to our core systems. Dr. Haywon stood up. Hiding won't work. I've studied both species. The Valtech see resource-rich systems as theirs by right of power. The Kryn need organic matter for reproduction. Neither will ignore us because we're small. Then we should ally with one of them, Senator Kim suggested. The Valtech, perhaps. They seem more civilized than those insects. Civilized? Daejung's voice was sharp. They vaporized a Kryn ship with 1,000 beings aboard without hesitation. They told us we're beneath their notice. You want to trust them? The argument continued for hours. Finally, the Coalition Council split into 3 groups. The isolationists wanted to abandon outer colonies and hide. The Alliance faction wanted to join with the Valtech, and Daejung's resistance faction argued for independence no matter the cost. After the meeting, Haiwan found Daejung staring out a window at Earth's night sky. We're divided, she said. That's the worst thing that could happen right now. Fear makes people irrational, Daejung replied. We need to give them hope. Show them we can survive this. How? We're outmatched in every way. Daejung smiled slightly. We find their weaknesses. Everything has a weakness, Haewon. Even ancient empires. Meanwhile, Captain Jin Ho had volunteered for a dangerous mission. He took his destroyer deep into a disputed system where a damaged Valtech ship was drifting. The crew was dead, but the technology was intact. This is crazy, his first officer muttered as they approached. If they catch us stealing their tech, they'll destroy us. Then we won't get caught, Jinho replied. Bora, take your team aboard. You have 30 minutes. Specialist Bora and her marines floated through the dead alien ship. The Valtech were reptilian, much larger than humans. Everything was built to their scale. The ship still hummed with residual power. Found the engine room, Bora reported. These drives are incredible. They fold space somehow, but they're attached to organic tissue. It's like the technology grows inside the ship. Can you remove a sample? Jinho asked, already cutting it free. This is going to take some serious engineering to understand. They got out just before a Valtech patrol arrived. Jinho's destroyer jumped away, carrying its stolen prize. Back at the fleet base, engineer Taeyang examined the Valtech drive component. He was an older man, his hair gray, his hands scarred from decades of work. He looked at the alien technology with wonder. It's beautiful, he murmured, the way it integrates biology and machine. But we can't just copy it. Human bodies aren't compatible with this tissue. So we can't use it? Daejung asked. I didn't say that. Taeyang smiled. We can't copy it. But we can learn from it. Understand the principles. Then build our own version using human technology. While Taeyang worked on the drives, Haewon focused on the Kryn. She sent Bora on another mission, this time to a planet the Kryn had occupied. Bora moved through the alien structures like a ghost. Her cybernetic enhancements let her see heat signatures and detect movement. The Kryn base was massive, organic structures that looked grown rather than built. She found what she was looking for in the central chamber. A large Kryn creature different from the others. It pulsed with strange light, and all the other insects seemed to move in coordination with its signals. This is their command node, Bora whispered into her comm. The hive mind works through these relay creatures. Dr. Haewon, are you getting this data? Yes, Haewon replied from orbit. Bora, can you plant the disruptor device? On it. Bora moved silently, placing a small electronic device near the node creature. She was almost out when Kryn warriors detected her. They swarmed from all directions. She ran, firing her weapon as she moved. The insects were fast, their bodies armored and deadly. One grabbed her arm, its mandibles tearing through her suit. She felt burning pain as biological acid touched her skin. Extraction now. She screamed into her comm. A shuttle dropped from the sky, its weapons firing. Bora dove through the hatch as it swooped past. They barely made it back to orbit. In the medical bay, HFY examined Bora's wound. The young woman was pale, sweating. The Kryn biological agent was spreading through her system. "I'm not going to make it, am I?" Bora asked quietly. "Yes, you are," HFY said firmly. "This infection gives me a chance to study their biology up close. I'm going to save you, and I'm going to learn how to fight them." For 3 days, HFY worked without sleep. She tested hundreds of compounds trying to find something that would kill the Kryn agent without killing Bora. Finally, she found a combination that worked. Bora recovered slowly, her immune system forever changed by the experience, but HFY had gained something valuable. She now understood how to create weapons against the Kryn, biological countermeasures that could disrupt their coordination and even kill them. While all this happened, political tensions grew worse. Someone tried to sabotage Daejung's flagship. The bomb was discovered just in time. The saboteur was caught, a member of the Alliance faction who believed joining the Valthek was humanity's only hope. "They're terrified," Jinho said when he heard the news. "So scared they're willing to destroy our own people." "Fear is our worst enemy right now," Daejung agreed. "More dangerous than either alien empire." Then the Valthek made their move. A formal message arrived, translated into human language. They offered protection. Humanity would become part of their empire, serve in their military, provide resources. In exchange, they would be shielded from the Kryn. Half the Coalition Council wanted to accept immediately. The other half saw it for what it was, slavery dressed up as protection. "We need more time," Daejung told the council. "Give me 3 months. Let me show you what we're capable of." 3 months for what? Senator Park demanded. "To prove we can survive on our own terms." The vote was close, but Daejung got his 3 months. He returned to his fleet with renewed purpose. Taeyang called him to the engineering bay. "Admiral, I've done it. The hybrid drives are ready for testing. We won't be as fast as the Valthek, but we'll be close. And we did it our way, with human technology." HFY had news too. "The disruptor works. I tested it on a captured Kryn specimen. It breaks their hive connection. They become confused, disoriented. Easy to defeat." Daejung looked at his team. Jinho, still eager for action. Bora, scarred but unbroken. Taeyang, proving that human ingenuity could match alien technology. HFY, finding solutions where others saw only problems. "We have weapons now," he said. "Technology, knowledge, and most importantly, unity of purpose. But there's something you all need to understand. The Kryn are planning something big. My intelligence network picked up massive fleet movements." "How big?" Jinho asked. "Thousands of ships. They're coming for human space. They want to take our worlds before the Valthek can claim them." The room fell silent. "When?" HFY asked. 3 weeks, maybe 4. "Then we prepare," Bora said simply. "We've got the tools now. Time to show these aliens what humans can do." Daejung nodded. The storm was coming. But this time, humanity wouldn't just survive it. They would fight back.